Okay.
Dok. Dok. Dokter. Kenapa digerakkan?
Okay, I kacau. Okay, cantik, cantik. Alright.
Zainal tambah seorang lagi
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting soon. Any second?
Apa?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are almost at the end of the session, but before that, let me hand over the session to Associate Professor Dr. Azmi Hassan of UTM to moderate the session and officially close later on for the prestigious Stockton National Workshop and Training Conference on Ocean Energy soon after. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Thank you, Rosita, and thank you for UTM Tech inviting me to be as the moderator today. And on a personal note, I like to be a moderator because I can control the situation. The panel, all my colleagues, I think have to follow what the moderator said, I guess. So today we have 4 distinguished panels. I would like to call all of them to the stage. Puan Azimah Abdul Kadir from EMOS, Captain Martin Sebastian from LIMA, Professor Dato' ABJ from UTM OTEC, and Dr. Muhammad Azmi bin Muhammad Rosli from USIP. Doesn't matter, you can pick any choose, Sebastian, no problem. So ladies and gentlemen, the discussion today will be more based towards the legal system and also the policy matters toward OTEC, ocean thermal energy. And as we listened this morning from SEDA representative Sebastian, I think OTEC was never mentioned. And if we look into Malaysia RE at 2011, there's no mention about OTEC. Nothing. There is biomass, there is biogas, there is solar, and there is a mini hydro, but nowhere can we see OTEC, Sebastian and Dato' ABJ. And let me tell you a small story about Dato' ABJ. I first met Dato' ABJ at one of the conferences at Lima, Sebastian. I have no idea who this guy is. Before this, even though Dato' ABJ is a very famous person, but being a naive person as me, I have no idea who he is. Suddenly he sits beside me, he opened his notebook, and he's talking about ocean thermal energy to me. And I said, who is this guy talking about ocean thermal energy? Something that are very, very, like a fantasy, I guess, for me at that particular time. And I don't know, it's been like a tough day, as we say in our world. Dato' ABJ right now is with me in Perdana School. So that's I would say I like to, start a story with OTEC. I have a very skeptical mindset view about ocean thermal energy. That's my view. And before this, I thought one of the, I think the student or staff from OTEC KL, he mentioned about a project in Pulau Layang-Layang. And Dato' ABJ has told me about this idea about Pulau Layang. I'm not going to talk about that particular project, but what I would happy to hear that particular guy that talked to me, he said Pulau Layang-Layang, Sebastian. He did not say
Macam ni je.
Swallow Reef,
Boleh.
because the correct term is Swallow Reef. So if you translate it literally, it should be Terumbu Layang-Layang. But he said Pulau Layang-Layang. I think talking about maritime diplomacy is very, very sensitive. On that note, Sebastian, why is that? That guy is correct, calling Pulau Layang, not Terumbu Layang-Layang. 5 minutes, Sebastian.
Testing. Okay. Very easy. I was the first commanding officer of Pulau Layang-Layang. Pulau Layang-Layang because when we took Swallow Reef, that time Terumbu Layang-Layang, Terumbu Ubi, and Terumbu Matanani. We only had 3 Terumbus we first took. Later we took Terumbu Siput and Terumbu Ubi. Terumbu Siput. And so they are 5. At that time, we only had a caisson there, and we had barges, and we had put a barge there. We put a caisson around it like a ring, and we put topsoil. So that became a small base, military base. And then Dr. Mate, that time, that was he was the PM. He decided to make it into an island. So what he did was cut a channel across the reef and then get a vessel to blow the residue of that cutting on that reef, and therefore we got reclaimed land, and that reclaimed land we made into an airstrip, and later that whole complex we reorganized it into an island. So it became Pulau Layang-Layang. It became a resort, and then it became a military base from there. If you notice, only that out of the first 3 that we took became a pulau. The others, we still have the 200 feet by 80 feet concrete, like a matchbox on the reef. So if you look down from there across the reef edge, we are talking about 3,000 meters plunge. So it's like this, it's like this, and we are there, like a matchbox. So those 2 are like that. The Pulau Layang-Layang is a pulau. Why we want to call it a pulau and don't no more refer it as Terumbu? Because island gives us effectivity. The island gives us a better hold on our claim in that area. And an island actually allows us to conduct economic activities, and according to UNCLOS, if it's self-sufficient, economic. So we want to play on with that clause and put our claim there and have that part of that front yard of that real estate, I call it, as ours. So I hope that was the 5-minute answer that you're looking for.
Yes, it's good. But taking what you said just now, Sebastian, Captain Sebastian, I can say that the Chinese are reclaiming 3 islands right now, 3 reefs right now. The Cebu Reef, the Mischief Reef, and also the Ferry Cross Reef. So in that case, we can call them islands, isn't it?
Well, we can't. In fact, even though we call them, we ourselves call it island, it is originally a reef. So UNCLOS will still recognize it as a reef.
Yeah.
The only island in that group will be Itu Aba, Taiping Island, in that group. So that belongs to Taiwan, and that is why Taiwan is still a strategic player in South China Sea. Although this one China policy, and we always shy away from Taiwan, I think we should embrace Taiwan with this new president. They are having a South policy now. We should embrace Taiwan as a game changer in South China Sea, because they are the only ones who have an island there, and we can capitalize on what we've been doing. NIMA, we've been working with the Taiwanese for the last 3 years, carrying out law enforcement training activities. We take it from a 1992 setup in Indonesia, which is called Workshop on Managing Potential Conflicts in South China Sea. Was set up in the late 90s in Indonesia, where the contributors to the workshop was Taiwan, China, and Vietnam. It started off with a Canadian funding entity, and later they stopped. So these 3 nations started. So I saw that Taiwan was there, so I can use Taiwan as an excuse. From there, I started looking out few sub-workshops, and I did one in 2014 in Kuala Lumpur. Of course, to the amazement of many ASEAN states, but it was an ASEAN event, ASEAN and Taiwan. And I tried to use Taiwan to have that as a hub, so that Malaysia become a hub and others can become a spoke around Malaysia. So now we have conducted 3 workshops with Taiwan, and we continue to report that in the future at the end of the year, and we've not got any backlash from China, which means, like what you said just now, diplomacy can actually be used to our favor if we are able to manipulate it. So whether in the case of the reclamation of the reefs in Terumbus, whether it's an issue of our real estate, or whether it's us playing this game of diplomacy, it must benefit us, and that is the biggest challenge to safeguard our interests in our maritime real estate.
Thank you, Captain Sebastian. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you can interject anytime, okay? Don't let me talk one-on-one with the panels. I look at Dr. Mohammad Azmi. If I can see he's quite uneasy about it. My question to you, Dr. Azmi, is that how UNCLOS can help in this particular case about ocean energy, and also how to create a legal system to it, and also how to create a policy regarding the ocean energy.
Hello. Alright. Firstly, Assalamualaikum. Good evening, everyone. It's approaching late evening, not really late, still early evening. Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Moderator. And can I just add to what my learned colleague has mentioned just now about Terumbu, because I have something deep inside my heart that I want to lay it out. I totally agree with what he has said. And looking at him, I know that he's a very experienced individual and a very learned person. So I totally agree when he said that we should use the term pulau instead of terumbu, because according to Article 121, Law of the Sea Convention, says that and a rock cannot sustain human habitation will not be able to generate exclusive economic zone up to 200 nautical miles. If you allow me to show my presentation, I would enlighten everyone with that. So if we use the term terumbu, it will be a rock. and we can only generate 12 nautical miles territorial sea, which is just about 24 or 25 kilometers, like traveling from Kuala Lumpur to perhaps Sungai Besi. If we have 200 nautical miles of EEZ, it's like traveling from Kuala Lumpur, down to Malacca or something like that. So it's very crucial if you use the term correctly. Just like Pulau Batu Putih, I don't agree that we use the term pulau, because Pedra Branca, because Singapore has got the island, it is actually an island. If you call it pulau, this actually gives somehow an implied recognition that Pedra Branca is an island, and that this will allow Singapore to claim 200 nautical miles to claim EEZ in the South China Sea that will overlap with our own EEZ in the South China Sea. Because Singapore is a geographically disadvantaged state, with Pedra Branca, if let's say the whole world recognizes it as an island, like what we are discussing now, then Singapore would have EEZ corridor in the South China Sea. So that's something that I would like to add, and I totally agree with you. Maritime diplomacy is very important. Just like the Philippines now, they are calling South China Sea as West Philippine Sea, but I don't think that really matters to China anyway. So going back to the question at hand, I think in terms of UNCLOS and ocean renewable energy, these two relates with each other. For example, ocean renewable energy is mentioned in Part 4 of the Law of the Sea Convention in Article 58, whereby it says that all states have sovereign rights to exploit renewable energy from the ocean, like tidals, thermal, and so on. And there are also provisions in the Law of the Sea Convention, Part 14 or Part 15, at the very end of the convention, mentioning about marine technology and also marine research. But at the moment, when Malaysia is a party of the Law of the Sea Convention, but the something about Malaysia is that we have ratified the Law of the Sea Convention since 1996. The Law of the Sea Convention came into force in 1982, but it took us 14 years in 2012 to finally come out with Territorial Sea Act. We had EEZ Act in 1984, but it took us so long in order to put a Law of the Sea Convention into our enabling statute, and this is something that we should give a little bit of concern, because anything that we do, particularly in regulating or exploiting renewable energy in our maritime areas, should be regulated by the Law of the Sea Convention. But at the moment, we are very slow in order to put those provisions in the Law of the Sea Convention into an enabling statute, which will allow us to have better implementation of what we are going to do to exploit our ocean resources, particularly on energy. So basically, I think I hope I answered your question. That's a very simple answer, actually.
Thank you, Dr. Azmi. I think Dr. Azmi, you have put a good point forward out there. Is there any interjection from the audience? Yes, please.
We can usually one of the job for moderator is to pass the mic.
Thank you. Welcome, ex-Naga National, now with Academic Science Malaysia. This morning, quite a number of mention was made on renewable energy for Malaysia, and there's always this question of the status of development, scalability, timelines, and so on. Now, Dato' Bakar mentioned earlier that Academic Science has come up for mostly workshop or sort of roadmap for carbon-free energy by 2050. That's a long way away, and perhaps what has been put in may be viable. But the other questions that were raised on the different forms of renewable energy, including what Sida mentioned, photovoltaic, biomass, biogas, and so on, are probably not likely to contribute significant amounts. I was involved with Dato' Bakar on that, and I have certain views which may not necessarily agree with that. But just recently, the Minister for NRE, Mr. Wan Junaidi, made a comment in answering an opposition politician's question that it's impossible for Malaysia to be a no-carbon nation. This sort of conflicts with what has been taken as a carbon-free energy. Now, globally, I know that European Union and Germany in particular had targeted to be 100% renewables by 2050. They have now diluted that to 80% renewables by 2050. There's a lot of talk of going 100% renewables. I know that your expertise is from a legal perspective of it, and particularly with respect to the marine renewable energy. Would you like to comment on how marine renewable energy can contribute to the overall renewable energy shares, particularly if it is to go towards zero carbon, carbon free or no carbon economy? Thank you.
We have a lot of motion. Already we have. Let's make up for this.
Thank you very much, sir, for that, for the very good question posed by you. I think it's difficult for us to exploit. It's not difficult. It's complicated for us to exploit the ocean or to basically improve the utilization on the ocean renewable energy for Malaysia, because we are now most probably because the energy itself is expensive. It's expensive. Even Malaysians keep complaining about the price of oil going up, right? We complain about that. And what more if we totally forget about, because you said about using ocean energy, renewable energy in totality. If we do that, we have to give up using fossil fuel energies. We have to resort to using hydroelectrics. At the moment, we have Bakun and Kenyir. Those are like the two biggest ones. And then, if we have to leave the fossil fuel energies are known to be the least expensive, and they produce more energy. And the problem with renewable energy is that they do not really produce as much energy, is from my understanding, as much energy as fossil fuel. So and maybe that's one of the reasons that the government at the moment, maybe one of the reasons that the government does not really give cognizance towards developing, a legal framework to develop renewable energy, because we are quite dependent. Actually, we are dependent. Yeah, it's already there, but it doesn't even list ocean energy as one of the renewable energy in Malaysia. It mentions about biomass, it mentions about solar, and it mentions about the other one, biomass law, and the other one is about bio as well. I cannot remember what term is being used. So it doesn't even mention it doesn't mention about using ocean energy. So to answer your question in a short way, I think that maybe there is not much interest being put on ocean energy, because first, maybe people don't understand about it, and second, it's expensive, and we don't have the technology to develop it. When I was flying to Europe, I always see they build a lot of wind turbines, on the ocean, on the sea. When I was traveling from Copenhagen to Malmö, passed through the Skagerrak, the Danish Strait, I saw a lot of wind turbines. Do we see that in Penang? We build bridges and stuff, but that's not related at all to what do you call that, ocean energy. But that's the reason. The reason why we do not really focus on ocean energy, because we have other things that we are focusing on, particularly to attain high income nation by 2020. And because of that, we need more energy, and the cheapest energy is what we are resorting to. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you sir, for your question. Coming from Maritime Institute of Malaysia, MIMA is a think tank for all maritime issues. We have Center for Maritime Environment, Center for Maritime Law, Center for Maritime Security, which I head, and also Center for Maritime Industry. So, whilst I'm doing maritime security, I also do cross-check issues with the law, maritime environment, and also maritime industry. I come to realize that when I interact with the maritime law people, they are now undertaking an IMO initiative to reduce the carbon signatures of ships. So they are doing a project for the region on that. But at the same time, I'm also working with the Foreign Ministry on blue economy with regards to Indian Ocean. And then I realized that we have not actually factored the sea in any way whatsoever. We call ourselves Tanah Air, but the air is missing. And the land real estate, as compared to the maritime real estate, the maritime real estate outshines the land real estate, you know. And yet we don't. Just look at South China Sea. How have we capitalized the huge real estate of South China Sea? Where is our deep sea fishing fleet? Where is our fishermen that is being outside there doing deadly catch and all that? And who eats the fish from South China Sea? I mean, if you look at the coastal fishermen of Kelantan, Terengganu, and you look at the reef fishermen of Sabah, and the agrarian society of Sarawak, you ask yourself, no, who is taking our fish? We are not taking our fish, somebody else is taking our fish, and then we are buying our fish from them. So, it is time for us to look back at our air and capitalize on it, whether it's ocean, thermal energy, whether it's wind energy, whether it's current or what. There's so much opportunities, especially the project that you are doing off the east coast of Sabah. We are looking at the coastal communities. Very bad facilities being provided to them, lack of power supply and all that. This is where we can provide these kind of renewable energies for them, harvesting the properties of the pristine waters of Seluruh Sulawesi Sea. We have enough data today. We can use those renewable energy, give them a better place, standard of living, better facilities, and then use them as human capital to harvest the maritime real estate. So it's an ongoing project that we are doing in the east of Sabah. We call it Kesban at Sea. Just delve 1 or 2 minutes on the word Kesban. Kesban stands for Keselamatan dan Pembangunan, a concept that we used when we were fighting the communists before. So the idea is, it is founded on the idea of providing development, from there we get security. So in the peninsula, we did it on land. In Sarawak, we did it on land and river. So in Sabah, we're doing land, river and sea. So this project is called Kesban at Sea. So we hope to harvest the sea, look at the sea as a real estate, identify the resources in the real estate and capitalize from there. Hopefully, the work that Dr. Bakar is doing off the Sabah Road, from Pulau Layan-Layan to Kota Kinabalu, renewable energy, and our work there complement some of the new initiatives that we are coming out on capitalizing our real estate.
Yeah, that's right, Vijay. Talking about renewable energy, from my humble opinion, Malaysian energy is right at the bottom of the river. So where are we now compared to the other RV?
I think to be your sexy, I better move to the other side. Okay, Puan Azimah, that doesn't mean I'm running away from you. But now I can see all the panelists, including our good friend, Mr. Moderator, and all of you. Otherwise, I'll be very rude. But now, nobody behind me. Okay, maybe I try to sum up, capture points that raised earlier, and also raised by that. I would recapture by making two points. Right? First, I agree with Captain Martin that the maritime awareness in Malaysia is very low. So if awareness is low, the action is low. You cannot expect to be higher. Right? Even on the environmental subject, our awareness is very high, yet the action is not there. I think that's the first problem. I think everybody recognizes that our laws on renewable energy, even the Energy Commission law on Energy Commission, including the latest application in the Labour National Plan on Ocean Energy, also not ocean thermal energy. Okay, that's the first point. Why this subject is not popular yet. The second one, actually, this subject has been discussed before. The question is, who are our energy advisors? Right? We notice our energy sector not well organized. Right? They're all over the place. Then when you say energy, different people in different mind, to them, maybe to some people, energy just right? So I would say our first set of advisors in Malaysia on energy actually our electrical engineers. Anullah is electrical engineer. Now, if they are not electrical engineers, they are more likely from they are petroleum engineers, right? So the next issue is, if they are not electrical engineers, If they're not petrol engineers, they're simply electrified parrots. This is our. Yeah, we don't have. We have Minister of Energy. When you look at the function of Minister of Energy, they don't address the total energy requirement for this. Right? So the exercise that Academy of Science did with UKM and Clark other universities, Clark was in they only managed to see renewable energy for generation of electricity. That's it. So I did present my slide, one of my slides. By 2050, renewable energy, including OTEC, right, would take up something like 55%. The rest still, we have to depend on the fossil fuel, including coal and oil. If we cannot continue to be totally independent of fossil fuel, even 2050, I'm not sure what's going to happen by the end of the century. Back to your question, OTEC. I think OTEC, according to the debt projection, take up 17%, right? In relation to the rest of the renewable. The rest of the renewable, right? I mean, 50% of the renewables will come from OTEC. So that's how. So since I have the floor, I will get 2 points. You said OTEC expensive, renewable expensive. Technology is not here yet. I know you're lawyers, so I appreciate that. Right? So I think the time is right now. It's considered expensive, it's really right? But the most important question is in terms of viability, right? Viability, and then the question of skill. Right? So that's how we get expensive. Then technology, I think this morning we heard presentation from PCMS. PCMS already, I think there are other 5 or 6, 7 other techniques. The reason why you don't see the windmills in Malaysia, because we don't have much wind, right? And I always argue that the wind in Malaysia or in the tropic is just like good enough for you and I to sit under coconut tree and see. Right? You have the much potential compared to the rest. I hope I address some of the points.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Debbie. Puan Azima. We can say that IP, intellectual property, you can gauge the level of R&D activity and also the level of innovation on a particular sector. So regarding ocean thermal energy, what's the level in terms of IP application or IP granted? Do you have an idea about that?
Thank you, Professor. Before I answer that question, I would like to take a cue from the discussion regarding whether the technology is expensive and it's difficult to develop. Yeah? From the research strategy point of view, actually, first and foremost, before we dive into the investment of new or advanced technology, I have one question. Do you know or are you aware whether this technology that you are dealing with, is it new or is it an old technology? Do you have any idea? Second question. Are you aware or have you conducted any investigation whether this technology is protected in Malaysia or not? Can you use it? Do you have the power? Do you have the rights, the license to use such technology in Malaysia before you even decide to invest in this technology? With regards to the cost factor, if the technology has been filed, it has been protected, and the lifespan of the technology is almost expired or already expired, so there is no need for you to even be bothered about the cost because the information has entered into public domain. It's free for everyone to use. Now, if it has not been protected in Malaysia. So the question is, do you need to pay for the license fee or the royalty for the use of such license from other parties? No, you do not need to pay for the use of that rights. Yeah. So actually, what I'm trying to explain here, I also prepared some slides. Yeah, to show you how actually researchers in this field may want to consider to conduct an analysis by using the patent database to identify the availability of the technology in the world, and also, like what Prof. Azmi mentioned, to identify the availability of the technology in Malaysia. Right? Now, there are more than one events that whereby I was asked to conduct an analysis on the availability of such technology after the government has approved the project. Yeah. So when that happened, you cannot undo an agreement which has been signed. You can't. And you are burdened with the unnecessary commitment to pay royalty, to pay license fee for technology that is not even available, it's not even protected in Malaysia, or even for technology that has expired. It's already free for you to use. More than one occasion that I have conducted such analysis, but there's nothing that we can do to show that actually the technology is free for you to use to develop new technology on top of it. Looking into, I managed to catch a few slides of presentation earlier, and I listened to all the problem faced by the research, which I think is one of a very potential platform for the Malaysian researchers to look into possibilities of protecting their findings, their new findings based on the problem that is faced by the Malaysian sea water, Malaysian beaches, Malaysia tectonic plates. Yeah, we need to study what is the problem faced by our sea areas. What are the issues that we can overcome by using the available technology? How can we merge? How can we diversify the available technology to produce a new invention? In order to claim the new reef as an island, you need to show a proof of life. You need to show a proof, a use of technology on that piece of land. Now, if you are using a protected technology, a foreign technology on that land, how can you claim that that use belongs to your country, when at the back you have to pay license fee and royalty to some other parties? What is the level of ownership of your technology for your country on that piece of land that you want to claim? Yeah. So from the intellectual property perspective, I would like to urge my colleague researchers and scientists to look from the perspective of using patent as a strategy. Being an inventor myself, I can understand the challenges that most inventors or researchers face. So I have actually left my slides on the laptop, which I think if you want to have a look at it, please go ahead and look at it. I have put in some example how you can analyze patent data and how can you identify the competitors in the field of technology, so that you do not step on anybody's toes in your pursuit for finding your own technology and developing your presence and creating recognition for your ownership of technology in this part of the world.
Thank you, Puan Azimah. I think she's blaming me for not allowing her to show a slide like that. But again, in my daily life, I always blame the politician for whatever happened. I always blame them. And talking about maritime, Sebastian and Dr. ABJ and also all the panels, I think the problem is with the politicians. 4 weeks ago, Datuk Sri Shahidan and Datuk Sri Shamuddin quarreled each other regarding the South China Sea. And up to one point, Datuk Sri Hanif Ahmad had to intervene because they are quarreling with each other. And in this case, I think the level of maritime, I would say, knowledge to the public and the politician, especially for the ocean thermal energy, is very, very low right now. It's very low. And today with the fossil price, the fuel price is so low, nobody cares about RE basically. If nobody cares about RE, what more towards the ocean thermal energy? Any intervention from the audience or from the panels?
I'd like to just add on this tussle you mentioned about the defense minister and the minister who was the spokesman for the Coast Guard. Actually, the issue, both of them were right. Both of them were right because the Coast Guard manages the real estate and looks at encroachment, whilst the Navy looks at intrusion of government vessels from another country. So one look at encroachment, one look at intrusion. The action is the same, but two different legal perspectives. And the Navy was given a task to ensure that there's no building up at that remove. So when they mentioned about so many vessels, so many fishing vessels were there, the Navy said, no, I did not see any vessel because the Navy was guarding that one. So that was the statement, because the aircraft that took off was a Coast Guard aircraft that went round and saw everything, whilst the military aircraft went round and saw this one. And they didn't see anything. They said, no, we didn't see anything. So then the following day, the aircraft went out of their area of operations. You know, remember that when militaries do the operations, they always remain within an area of operation, because that area of operation defines the force requirement, the command and control, the logistics and all that within that boundary. So they won't go beyond that boundary. Therefore, the commander is tasked on his mandate, on his mission for that area only. So when the Coast Guard made that statement, of course, the military said, oh, we didn't see anything there. And therefore, the conflicting statements, you know. And of course, there was a radio interview, and they interviewed me, coming from NEMA, and I deconflicted this whole thing. I said, no, both of them were right. Actually, the context of the press that was reporting it in a way that it was taken out of context to say that both of them were conflicting, and therefore, of course, the foreign minister, the intervention of the foreign minister was correct, because the Prime Minister has earlier made a statement that anything to do with foreign policy must come from a foreign minister. But they were not doing any foreign policy statements. One was doing a defense statement, one was doing a law enforcement statement. So, yes, we can blame the politicians, but sometimes, you know, things go out of context, and we as readers of news, sometimes also we are not very well informed. So we take it as it is, just like what we read WhatsApp and Facebook and all that. It is the era of instant gratification. So we also got instantly gratified, and everything, and it became a history. So that's just explaining that, and that creates a challenge for us, especially when you look at the maritime real estate. The military has got to protect it to ensure that there's no foreign intrusion, and the Coast Guard has got to make sure the law abiding, everything to do with the law is enforced there. And then the Coast Guard has got a problem with the assets, and then the military also got their problem with the assets, and they are war fighting. They don't go and do law enforcement. So we are facing this, rightly said by the moderator, that we have not actually factored our maritime real estate. Had we done that, we have built force requirements to safeguard that asset. So we are now playing this pendulum, going left and right, but it's still not too late. I see that it is not exhausted. Why? Because we have got this private-public partnership. We can allow fishermen to go there and spread out, like what I said just now, become our eyes and ears. We can actually get the commercial stuff like Petronas and all that also to become our eyes and ears. So we only go there when they tell us that somebody is there. We don't have to waste government money and wear and tear and go there and patrol. We can also have commercial vessels with UAVs patrolling up there for about 6 hours on task. And if we can spread our wings and make it cheaper for us to operate and reduce costs, I think this NBOS, National Blue Ocean Strategy, that we always talk about, if we actually translate it into action, I'm sure we can save a lot of costs, cover a lot of ground, and be more impactful in managing our maritime estate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Captain. I think for all the audience, I think Captain Sebastian is a truly good civil servant. He's defending the government, I guess. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Director. I would like to, I'm just waiting to hear what the legal and enforcement framework, as what, as the panel discussion is all about. Actually, so many things they throw in, but I'm not heard anything about the policy and legal framework for the ocean thermal and for ocean energy. Thank you.
I think I know the reason why, because we don't have the policy and also the legal framework for ocean. We don't have. I'm sure. I think
let's delegate things.
Yeah.
We are the come out of the gap.
I think from Mano, I think you and Dr. ABJ work from day one for Tech BTF. How difficult is to convince the government that this is the way?
I think that's
no, I'm just throwing questions to you.
Maybe you can respond better.
Mano is the boss, so I have to answer. Okay. How to the legal framework, right? We have done a study, and if anybody were to propose a OTEP project now, right, it can be done, can be approved under the existing laws. That's our finding. Right? But the only problem is that we could do better if we have a special law or a specific law on ocean thermal energy. And on this subject, I still remember that I think Captain answered that also. Right? We already proposed to the government, right? Through MIMA, through Ministry of Transport, because MIMA is under the Ministry of Transport. 3 recommendations, right? First, to set up Ocean Thermal Energy Development Unit in the Prime Minister's Department, just like we did last time for petroleum. We had Petroleum Development Unit. Then the responsibility of the unit will be to formulate a new unit, right? I think that Petroleum Unit developed, formulated the Petroleum Development Unit, Act, in 1974. Then here we propose Ocean Thermal Development Unit to formulate a bill on ocean thermal energy. That was the proposal. And this matter has yet to be taken up to Cabinet. So still with the Ministry of Transport, despite the fact that there was an interagency committee even to endorse the Cabinet memorandum. And this initiative was taken up after a potential investor from US paid a visit call on Datuk Seri Najib on 16 May 2012 in New York. That was the background to this cabinet. But at the same time, if any investor coming now, we can start the project based on 2 existing laws. If the project will be taken up within EEZ, we have Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1994. The authority, of course, the AGOM, with the advice of Prime Minister. If the project were to happen within our Territorial Sea Act, within our territorial waters, then we have Territorial Sea Act 2012. The authority is none other than the Prime Minister. And I have one PhD student working on this, and he also confirmed that the final authority on any activity within water column is strictly under the Constitution is federal, not state. So even within the territorial seas, right, the state has no say, only federal. So that's very, to me, easier to develop, to extract energy from the water column think that's so. In short, all those ocean energy projects of the tidal, current, and ocean thermal wave can be considered by the government with the existing costs. In short, but we better if we have new law. The only thing is missing at the moment, the policy. Right? Although we have paragraph 78 in chapter 17 of the RMK law, right? But that doesn't give the policy, the kind of policy, that was more like a government plan rather than intention, rather than policy. I think these investors, the one that made this call on Dr. Sri Najib, asked two questions. First, do we have a law? Okay. The way you can answer it, well, we have two existing laws. Another one, what would be the royalty? What would be the royalty if I were to extract the energy from the water column? How much royalty? Then, in private, I had an opportunity to discuss with the chairman of the company. The name of the company is Ontech Corporation. He said, how about 10%? Right? He said, no. Cannot be 10%. I said, why? Because oil and gas is 10%. What's the difference? Energy is energy. No, because this is a renewable. That's very interesting. That's very interesting angle. So now we managed, now we have a number of our lawyers, right, now to study what be the legal framework for the government to establish the kind of policy regime in the world. That question still remains to come up or be answered. I hope I answered.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, Prof. But before I start, I would like to just make a comment about I always wanted to. I always imagined when I was driving through Penang Bridge that I see wind turbines, but unfortunately, after your enlightenment today, it won't be possible, right? Because we don't have enough winds. I always imagine we drive through Penang. When we drive through Penang Bridge, the winds are quite strong. When you drive, your cars would swerve. But apparently, it's not strong enough for us to have a wind turbine. So this will not be in my imagination anymore. And one more thing is that when you mention territorial waters and territorial sea, these are also different, because territorial waters includes internal waters, territorial sea, and exclusive economic zone. So in terms of the maritime zones of jurisdiction, if you mention territorial waters, will include all this. Just territorial sea includes only up to 12 nautical miles territorial sea. So what I'm trying to say here is about it is difficult for us to harvest the energy, the ocean energy, because this is something that I'm working on, because we still have a lot of unresolved maritime boundary disputes with our neighbors. Malaysia, particularly, a country, we are smack in the middle of South China Sea. We are bordered by Indonesia in the west. We are bordered Indonesia to the east, the Philippines to the east, Thailand to the north, Singapore to the south. For example, we have not resolved yet the problems of maritime boundary limitations with Indonesia as far as the Strait of Malacca is concerned. So Indonesia is claiming a different line. If I have given the chance to show the map, I can show it to you. Indonesia is claiming a different line. Malaysia is claiming a different line. So it leaves a grey area. So what if the ocean's energy are being harvested from that area? How do we discuss with Indonesia? But I don't think we are doing it at the moment. Maybe we in the future will be doing it. Down south, in Pedra Branca, in Batu Putih, that area is being claimed by 3 countries: Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. Singapore is claiming territorial sea in that area. But in terms of whether or not they will have EZ, and then they will have territorial waters in that area, I doubt it. But at the moment, I think obviously Singapore can claim for territorial sea. So what if we are going to harvest the ocean energy over there? So we have to discuss with these 3 littoral states. For example, in Sabah, but Sabah, as far as Ambala is concerned, is only involved continental shelf dispute. So what I'm trying to say here is that we have not resolved the maritime boundary disputes between our neighbours. Even in Straits of Singapore, in Tanjung Berakit, a couple of years ago, in 2010, we captured Indonesian fishermen I'm talking about fishermen, and then this caused a lot of protests from Indonesia, especially the Indonesian public, saying that we are stealing their fish. So we have not settled this maritime boundary disputes yet. So what more if you want to venture into harvesting oceans energy from these areas? So this is also one of the setbacks or complications that may that we may face in order to embark upon this oceans energy harvesting, something like that. Thank you.
I don't want to mean that we have dialogue here, but I would like to respond quickly. First and foremost, those areas under dispute are very small, right? There's vast areas where you can develop for ocean thermal energy. And to me, you raising an issue is not an issue. We already done it with Thailand, right? I don't think we ever can settle our dispute with Thailand. So what we do? We go for joint development. Right? Because the logic is that ownership of the area is not important. Benefits from the area that matter. That's the philosophy.
It covers sovereignty, so sometimes can cause.
I know, but because sovereignty go to war,
yeah.
I mean, so nobody has to stick the gun on this. So, to me, lawyers would like to raise issue, non-lawyers will solve the issue.
Before we talk about our maritime real estate, I'd like to reflect on the initiative by President Ma when he was president of Taiwan, and he came out with this thing called East China Sea Peace Initiative. He came out with East China Sea Peace Initiative 1, and then came out with East China Sea Peace Initiative 2. His overarching statement was, sovereignty is indisputable, but resources can be shared. Now, that takes on from what Dr. Bhatta mentioned. And if we recall, we had this issue with Indonesia, and we signed a memorandum. Jeraim is here, he is the architect of the memorandum. And we had a problem with Thailand. We created a JDA, Joint Development Area. And then we had a problem with Vietnam. We created a joint commercial area. Then we had a problem with Brunei. We created CAA1 and CAA2. So there's no problem about sovereignty here. It's about managing your real estate. How do you manage? So if you look at land and sea, sometimes you don't have to own something to make money from the real estate. You can be a broker, you can be a introducer, you can be whatever, So many ways that you can manage your real estate. But principally, governments like to talk about lines, boundaries, and this and that. Most importantly is how you manage it. UNCLOS provides for provincial agreement. So you can do a provincial agreement if you have problems on that line, on that fence. Because good fences make good neighbors. You don't have fence, never mind. You make a provincial agreement. If I have a fence, if you are Buat Rambutan, come to my side, I makan everything. But the fence is yours. Then you do provincial agreement. Okay, I take Rambutan, I give you some. But the fence is there, the fruits are here. So just like the water, your boundary is there, but your fish is here. My fish go from here to there. So seabed as one regime, water column is another regime. So we cannot go on the legal. Remember, the legal side is the most sexy part now. But when managing something, you don't have to go through the legal. This is where arbitration, litigation, negotiation. The word negotiation is very important. Because you want to use arbitration, litigation and all that, you say, this is mine, that is yours. But no, I always use the philosophy of a parking lot, covered parking lot. Two people are arguing, and because of that, they put their car in the hot sun. If they negotiated, they would have put their car in a covered parking lot if they agreed on that. So these are the things. Sometimes negotiation paved the way. The Malaysian way, I spoke to my colleague this afternoon. I said, we use the Malaysian way. We can negotiate everything out, and we have done it. And this is our time. If we can negotiate our way out on a living resource, non-living resource, energy, let's do it. Let's do it, and it's up to us now. It shows, it will bring back our leadership in what we do. But we got to start thinking innovation. Sorry, Mr. Moderator.
Because thank you very much for a very good explanation on that. It's just that the reason why I think this is an issue, because it involves political sentiments. We don't want people to say that we are stealing, the neighbors' energy or something. And it has happened in the past where Malaysia is being lambasted for taking fishes from other countries. We are being lambasted. I know by some public expert, by the government. So basically, we need to look at this legal issue. It's still equally important, even though said by Prof. AVG, it's not important, but to me it's somewhat important. Because like what Rizal mentioned by my learned friend over here, just next to me, good fences make good neighbors. So this is something that we should also venture into. Because we don't want to create, we want to be good neighbors and a good state with our neighbors. And maritime boundary issue is something that we have to look at. Even though the areas are small, but it's not insignificant.
Azimah, any last comments?
Yeah, that's right. Patent the fence. Who got the first patent on the fence, and you have the final say. Because you don't have to argue because the patent law has matured. You don't have to wait for the new law to come on board. You can use the patent law, which is protected and respected in worldwide. Yeah. So that's always the case. Whenever there's a dispute about the parameters, we go to the lawyers, and the lawyers will say, wait until the parameters is developed, the fence is up, then only you can walk around. Because your territory has been defined. But that's the beauty of research. Research actually is the best platform that will make all different interest parties will be able or willingly to come forward and work together. Yeah, in my experience in the industry for 13 years, normally the engineers will come and see me and say, please come and help to draft a research agreement. So let's work on a research platform, because law will take quite some time to develop. But technology is the one that actually determines how the law should behave. So if you can structure the technology, the use of the future use of the technology, and you can prove the benefit and advantage from that technology, the law will listen to you. So you are actually the key person, everyone in this room. You are the one who determine how the legal framework should be. Yeah, because you are the one who should structure how the technology should be developed. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Puan Azimah. Talking about establishing the legal framework for ocean energy, we have to relate with maritime boundary. Right now, it is very difficult. The government will never take it up the issue about ocean energy until the maritime dispute is resolved. And currently, it's not resolved. And I can take up for my life's work, as Captain said just now, negotiation is the key. Yeah, I believe negotiation is the key, and I like to quote President-elect Rodrigo Duterte. Captain, he said he wants to negotiate with Malaysia regarding the Sabah territorial claim. That's negotiation for you. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, can we give a big hand to our panel?
Thank you so much, Professor Azmi, for moderating the live session.
And I forgot to panel can go back to your seat.
Thank you. But before that, I'd like to have Professor Mubakar from ABJ, as we know just now, to be on stage again to give away the token of appreciation for our celebrity professor. First, Professor Azmi. Thank you for moderating this session this evening. And to remain on stage, yeah? Alright. Next, can we have Captain Martin Sebastian? Next, Madam Azimah. Yeah, please be on stage with us. Madam Azimah from IMOS. And finally, Dr. Hazmi. Thank you so much, Prof. ABJ. Yes. for the meanwhile, can we have the audience to be at the middle of the seat here, for us to have a photo session with the rest of the speakers? Can you please fill in the middle part of the seats here? Ushers, can you assist us in getting the whole participants at the middle? So with that, this is the end of our second national workshop and training classes on ocean energy. Thank you so much for being with us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.